I felt the room shift before anyone said a word. 500 guests, gold lights, soft music, a stage drowning in flowers. A celebration that wasn't mine, yet every breath felt like it belonged to me. I stood beside my son, adjusting his cufflink, when I felt eyes drilling into my back. Her father, her mother, and the woman my son was about to marry. Their faces carried that quiet smirk, the kind people wear when they've already decided who you are. Then the microphone squealed. Her father tapped it twice. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "before the ceremony, a little fun." The crowd hushed. My son stiffened beside me. I didn't move, didn't blink. The man pointed at me. "That," he said, voice dripping with alcohol and something darker, "is not a father. That," he laughed, a high, ugly sound, "is trash." Laughter rippled across the tables, soft at first, then growing. Her mother hid her mouth behind a jeweled hand. The bride didn't bother hiding anything. She laughed openly, loudly, proudly. I watched it all unfold like a distant spectator, the way someone watches their own accident in slow motion. My son said nothing, not yet. His breath caught, his jaw clenched, but his silence cut deeper than their words. I didn't speak either. Silence is a blade when people expect begging. 3 days earlier, the first crack appeared. A message on my son's phone, left on the counter by mistake. A whisper of suspicion buried inside 12 words. "Don't worry. After the wedding, he'll be out of the picture." I stared at the screen, a coldness moving up my spine. I had seen manipulation before, lived through betrayal once already in my marriage. But seeing my son's fiancée speak about me like I was already a corpse in her way, the denial hit first. No, not him, not my son. He loved her, he trusted her more than anyone. I would not break his world unless I was absolutely certain. Still, the unease lingered. Her sudden politeness around me, her parents' forced laughter, the way they pushed for control over every wedding detail and tried to keep me distant. A family that smiled too wide, a woman who avoided my eyes, a son who didn't see the storm forming around him. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. But suspicion without evidence is just paranoia wearing a mask. So I waited, and I watched. 2 days before the wedding, I followed the threads carefully. A forgotten envelope on the dining table in their home, addressed to her father. Inside, a contract, a prenup. Not for my son, for her. A clause that transferred decision-making power of their future company to her father if my son's financial background proved inadequate. Inadequate. I almost laughed. Almost. I built an empire brick by brick, quietly, deliberately. I never flaunted it, never used money to define myself. My son grew up thinking we were comfortable, not wealthy. I wanted him to learn humility, not entitlement. But her family, they wanted power, control, a puppet groom. And to them, I was the obstacle. Trash. I arranged the rest silently. Financial reports, screenshots, hidden recordings from meetings they thought were private. Every lie, every insult, every intention documented with surgical precision. I walked through those final hours with a calmness that frightened even me. Not anger, not hurt, just a cold, heavy clarity. The day before the wedding, I handed my son a folder. No emotion, no trembling hands, just truth. He read everything in silence. The prenup, the audio recordings, the messages. Every page peeled away another layer of his certainty. His face drained, his shoulders dropped. He didn't cry, he shattered without a sound. When he finally spoke, it was barely a whisper. They used me. No blame, no anger toward me, just devastation. I placed a hand on his shoulder. "She never loved you," I said softly. "She loved what she thought you didn't have." He nodded once. Then he looked at me with something I hadn't seen since he was a child. Trust. The kind that doesn't need words. Back to the wedding. Their laughter still echoed. My son suddenly stepped forward, grabbed the mic from her father. His voice cut through the hall like ice. Weddings off. Gasps. Chairs scraping. The bride's face crumbled. He didn't look at her, didn't explain, just dropped the mic on the floor. It hit with a thud that felt like a final verdict. She reached for him. "Baby, wait!" He stepped back. And then I spoke for the first time. Cool, measured, lethal in its softness. "Son," I said, my eyes on her parents, "I think they should know." A pause, heavy enough to crush. "I'm a billionaire." The silence afterward was absolute. Her father staggered. Her mother's hand slipped from her pearls. The bride's knees buckled slightly, eyes wide with a realization too late to save her. Greed collapses quickly when the foundation it stood on disappears. I watched their faces fold in on themselves. I felt nothing. After the hall emptied, my son and I walked outside. Cold air, quiet sky, a freedom neither of us expected to find today. He asked only one question. "Why didn't you tell them earlier?" I looked at him, the only thing in my life I never regretted. "Because people show their truth," I said, "when they think you're nothing." He breathed slowly, letting the words settle. We walked away from the ruined celebration without looking back. Some endings are not loud. Some victories are not celebrated. Some truths simply stand, and everything else collapses around them. And as we stepped into the night, I felt it. The clean, sharp calm of emotional detachment. The kind that comes when you finally understand, not everyone deserves access to your life, or your love, or your silence. Sometimes the most devastating revenge is only the truth.